Hello, everyone. Pastor Nate here, and today we are going to be discussing the idea of waiting patiently for God to show you his plan or his will for your life. And we're going to look at a verse in Acts chapter 11, and verse number 25, Acts 11:25. So if you want to turn there with us, that would be great. I'll give you 1 second. 1,000. Okay, hope you got it. And the Bible tells us in Acts 11:25, then departed Barnabas to Tarsus for to seek Saul. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people, and the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. And so a little bit of background here of this verse is that the church has been started in Antioch, and the church at Jerusalem heard about it, and they send Barnabas. And we're going to talk about Barnabas in another video, but Barnabas goes to Antioch. He sees what's happening. He's an encouragement to the church that is there. And then he goes to Tarsus. Tarsus is about 83 miles away from the city of Damascus, but he goes, he searches Saul out and brings him back to Damascus. And here is where we really begin to see Saul's prominence begin to take off in the book of Acts. See, the last time that we had seen Saul in the book of Acts was when Barnabas had taken Saul and he had brought him to meet the apostles because the apostles were afraid of meeting with Saul. And Barnabas was used to basically unite the apostles together with Saul. And so Saul is there in Jerusalem. He's preaching, he's teaching, and the Jews begin to threaten Saul's life. And so Saul's life is in danger. And so they send Saul to Caesarea, and then eventually they send him home to Tarsus. And he stays there for approximately 5 to 6 years. And most of us, if we're familiar with Scripture at all, if we're familiar with the book of Acts, when we think of the book of Acts, we think of two main characters, the character of Peter, but mostly the character of Paul. And Paul ends up becoming, this great apostle that God uses mightily to write a massive amount of Scripture, and he travels all over the known world sharing and preaching the gospel, from the lowliest person innkeeper to Caesars and men of power, and everybody in between, right? And so we think of Paul as this wonderful man that God mightily used, and he did. But there was a period of time from Saul's conversion of about 5 or 6 years where he was just living his life in his hometown being a Christian. And sometimes we have to go through that time. We have to go through that time period of just waiting patiently for God to show us the plan for us. And, our human nature is that we want to just get out and run and go and do. We want to know right now what it is God has for us. And sometimes we just need to be a Christian. Sometimes we just need to serve God right where we're at and be patient. And that's what Paul did. We see him there. We don't know much about what he did. The Bible doesn't really tell us anything. But we know that he was there for that time period until his time to shine, so to speak. I say that in a spiritual sense, not in the idea of pride or anything. But God had a plan for him, and he just had to wait. And so, whatever it is that you're going through, you may feel like God's called you to the ministry, God's called you to the mission field, God's called you uh, to whatever, and you're just like, well, God, how do I get there? What do I do? Well, you just continue serving God where you're at. Many years ago, I felt like God had something for me to do in my life, and I've gotten to do all kinds of different things that I look back on, and they prepared me to be a pastor now at an older age. And God has times of life for us, seasons of life, to train, to be patient, to learn. Sometimes before He shows us what His final plan is. So don't be discouraged. Don't get down. Don't give up. Just serve God. Serve Him as a Christian. Be a faithful Christian where you're at. And in His time, He'll send a Barnabas to help you, to pull you to Antioch, and to get you started on the journey that God has for you. So just hang in there, be patient, and serve God no matter where you're at. And God will eventually reveal his plan for you, because God does have a plan for each and every one of his children. If you like the content, we'd certainly appreciate it if you'd hit that like, subscribe, and share if you think this will be a blessing to somebody. We're going to make a concentrated effort to really try to start pushing out some more content here. So I hope you're doing well, and y'all take care. Till next time.